Flashback to 2013. I'm working in the south of Spain. Arsenal have potentially the worst team they've had in many years, but I got the best driver that I still think I've ever had. And that's what we're using today. The exact same setup as I had over a decade ago. But what is this driver? Some of you might know already. And you can tell straight away from that sound, it's not a carbon driver, it's not one of the latest drivers, and that is the Callaway X2 Hot driver. I also have in here the exact shaft that I had when I had the club, which is the Oban Devotion shaft. So you can see there's some wear and tear on there. Unfortunately, since living in the south of Spain, I have moved around a little bit and I have lost the head. This head is actually from Golf Clubs for Cash. We have tested this with mid-handicap Dave, but there's some big changes. This was potentially the best driver that I think I've ever had. I played the best golf with this driver, but obviously I don't have it now. But why is that? Often we don't have the club we probably say we played our best golf with. But shots like those two there are exactly why it was the best golf I played and one of the best drivers that I did have. Again, you can tell by the sound straight away, this is an all titanium head. So very tinny, very much like the old Ping style. And also, obviously, if we're thinking about technology, it did say it had the thinnest face. Has it got the thinnest face now? No, but it was also 10 years ago saying that it had more forgiveness. So interestingly, even 10 years ago, it was thinner face, it was more distance. But it'll be very interesting here to see when we drive down in the cart there, how far this driver has gone. Obviously, what we want to see there, has it changed that much? Obviously, should I still be using this Callaway driver? Obviously, I haven't got the head. This is from Golf Clubs for Cash, so a massive thanks for them for letting us test some of the older clubs. Again, a premium shaft or an upgrade shaft that a lot of people wouldn't have in there. Again, this was given to me by an ex-England player, an ex-European Tour player, who's also had a hole-in-one and an Open. So obviously, at least somebody good has used this club before, but it was, like I say, my favourite driver. The favourite driver I've had. Why I don't use it, you might ask yourself there, why don't you use the club? We always get attracted to something new. With shots like that, consistency like that, yes, the sound is different to what we know now, but let's get down there and see for distance how far that's gone. Let's talk a little bit more about the technology back then. So as we come down, first shot here is again saying it's 290 and the other two are here, so well over 300 yards. This hole obviously does play downhill now, so obviously they might have gone a little bit further. Yes, you could say they're over 300 yards, but we know obviously, let's have a quick look what it says, 317 yards on there. So we know obviously it is downhill, so we're not going to take that too much, but what we want to do now is obviously test it against one of the modern day drivers, one of the latest drivers. I do have the QI10 in the bag, so we're going to put it to the test against that. That also has a premium upgrade shaft in there, so it'll be very interesting to see, is the shaft making that little bit of difference? Again, the Oban shaft in here was an upcharged shaft, and Oban obviously are making a little bit of a comeback. They have got some fantastic shafts, not only in drivers but also in irons in the graphite areas, so obviously that's something for you to check out with. Now if we compare these two driver heads, you can see not too much distance. Obviously the Callaway here on the left doesn't look obviously too outdated. Grey finish on there with orange, and we can see we've got obviously carbon wrap on there on the top of the TaylorMade QI10, so very interesting. Again, shape wise very much similar. Obviously we know with the Callaway they did change that at this point, but you can pick up this Callaway X Hot driver for under £100, I believe. I will confirm that because I will look on the website shortly, because I don't have the actual shaft that came in this. Obviously from Golf Clubs for Cash we did just have the standard shaft in there, but condition wise exactly what you'd expect to see. But let's hit them up this par 4. So guys, we're going to start with the Callaway X Hot 2. So again, if we're comparing drivers here with the QI10, we do have the same loft, we do have the same kind of shaft. So makeup wise, exactly what we are expecting to see from both of them. We should start to see some consistency hopefully. And again, if you can get used to that sound, that's another fantastic shot. Well struck there, so very interesting. That was a well struck one, so it'll be interesting to see where that's gone up there. Obviously, what we want to do is make this a fair test. So I'm going to jump into the QI10 now and hit that, and obviously see what that does. So QI10 in now. Yes, this is the low spin head. Again, with the X Hot 2, it was saying it was lower spin, more forgiving. We know here now we've got obviously a lot of carbon in these latest drivers, which has allowed for, again, more forgiveness across the face. They've been able to spread that weight. We've got variable thickness facers now in obviously modern day technology. Everything's towards forgiveness, which it was maybe 10 years ago, like we say, with the Callaway. So it'll be interesting to see obviously what this can do. Now interesting there, obviously started up the left, fading back ever so slightly, but that was a heely strike. So, but in comparison there to the X Hot 2, that wasn't as good a strike. But is that exactly what you're paying nearly £500–600 for in the latest and greatest? Are we getting that more forgiveness? Is an off-centered hit there, extremely close to the heel, better than a well-struck one out of the middle from an X Hot 2. 10 years old, obviously, is there a big difference there? That's what we want to see. Is that going to affect you? Is it all down to price point? Obviously, if that driver is going as far as a misstruck one and you're happy with it and that's what's in your price budget, then that could be a great driver. But is it going a little bit further and is it keeping up there? That's what we really want to know when we're testing old drivers. It's the best driver I've ever had. Certainly a different sound. As we know, technology has changed and sounds have changed. But if it's hitting fairways and it's helping you lower scores, it doesn't matter what it costs if you're getting better at golf. But I'll come straight back in with this TaylorMade. It's another one up there now. That was centered, so a soft fade up the middle there. That was out of the middle, so very interesting to see where that one has gone now. Has that gone 10–20 yards further? But how much further would you want to see? Obviously, would you want to see 10–20 yards difference, or would you just want to see more consistency from off-centered hits? That's the big question. Because after all, obviously we know we don't hit the center of the face that often, unfortunately. And if we are losing more yardage with an older driver, is it worth it? I don't know, because I've thoroughly enjoyed rolling back the years. And that is a well-struck drive. On the exact same line as the last TaylorMade, so it'll be very interesting to get up there now and have a look. But let's get up there and see how they compare performance-wise. Yes, we haven't got the numbers today, but just testing out on a golf course on a tough driving hole, how do they do? So guys, we're up here now and we can see that we have got these two golf balls in the tree. This is the misstruck QI10, so I think it has been slowed down slightly by the tree, and that is the X Hot 2 driver, and it's bang in line with the other well-struck one which has hit the fairway. Obviously we've only lost 5 yards there. That is the QI10 in the middle of the fairway, so a well-struck one there has gone into the middle of the fairway. But interesting, we've got the consistency from the same kind of strike there with the X Hot 10. Again, like I say there, that might have been affected by the tree slightly, so we've got to think that that would be up there at least in line with these two here. So obviously there, a misstruck QI10 is going to go as far as those Callaway X Hot 10s. So again, obviously 10 years old or over 10 years old, and it's only lost 5 yards on a well-struck TaylorMade. So very interesting there, but the biggest thing, we haven't misstruck an X Hot 2, maybe just because I want to enjoy that driver. I'm rolling back the years, I enjoy that. But if we misstrike it, are we going to be 10–15 yards behind? That's a big thing there. But obviously there's also a huge thing, which is the price difference. Obviously we know that that X Hot 2 is coming much cheaper than the latest and greatest. Would you be more happy with that? And yes, if you are 10–15 yards behind maybe on a misstrike, are you going to be too disappointed with that? Because obviously your pockets are going to be a little bit more full. You're going to be able to maybe pay for some extra lessons, but you need to think about that. But guys, comment below, what is a club that you've had? What was the best golf club you've had that you don't have anymore? Is it in the garage? Did you get rid of it and you wish you still had that? And if you're enjoying the content, guys, please do consider hitting that subscribe button below, and I will see you tomorrow.